Chapter 1 Homework Review Questions 1 to 10, 11, and 16. Question 1. In a newspaper or magazine or on the internet, find an example of a descriptive study. Descriptive study gives information in an organized and it summarizes information actually. So in here I got a descriptive statistics of Oklahoma City Thunder basketball team. Here it gives you information about how many games they played, how many of them they won, and how many of them they lost, and how many points they got from each, or actually in total. All these, as you see, this is in organized way, and it is a summary. So this is an example of a descriptive study. An example of an inferential study, here I got this from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. This study gives information about the employed parents by full-time and part-time studies and age of youngest child. This has been done in March 2015. My condition falls in here in this blue part, but no one came and asked me anything about this study. So it shows that they chose a sample and then they did inferential study of the sample. They got inferential statistics. They are given the answer or information for the whole population. Question 2. Almost any inferential study involves aspects of descriptive statistics. Explain why. So inferential study works with sample. So you get a sample and you get numbers for the sample, and you do inferential. You use the inferential statistics for the population. So if you have numbers for the sample, of course you have to display them. You have to describe the information that you got. So when we have the data, we display the information as a summary and in an organized way. So that is actually the definition of descriptive statistics. So we always have this descriptive statistics for inferential statistics. Question 10. Before planning and conducting a study to obtain information, what should be done? It's definitely a literature search. Why? Because listen, that you want to see how is the relationship between mathematics and music skills of high school students. You want to search for that. To do that, you have to spend your time, energy, and money. But why don't you check previous researches first? For example, when I type these in the database in the library, I get an article. I actually get lots of articles, and this article actually gives me information of what I'm looking for. So if I hadn't put these in here, and if I hadn't found this article, and if I really wanted to find the answer for what I'm looking for, it would take lots of time, energy, and money. But because I didn't literature search, I don't have to spend that much time, energy, and money. Question 11. Explain the meaning of a representative sample. So because the sample has members from the population, those members should definitely have the characteristics of the population. So actually the members of the sample should represent or mirror the population, because you get the results from the sample, and those results are going to represent the population. What is the probability sampling? So for example, okay, let's say that you have to decide to choose something. As humans, when we decide to choose something, we make our own judgments. If we really want to choose the members randomly, without our judgment, then we should do probability sampling. We can do that by using some probability devices. Yeah, you can use coins, you can use random numbers table, or you can make your own random number generator. Simple random sampling. When you choose something, when you choose the members of the sample, if all of the possible samples, let's say that you choose sample A, sample B, sample C, all these three samples, if they all have the same equal opportunity to be obtained, then this is called simple random sampling. There's two types. One type is simple random sampling with replacement. So after you choose, you replace the member, so that member has an opportunity to be chosen again. Or the other type is simple random sampling without replacement. So after you choose the member, you don't replace it, so the member is not chosen again. Question 16. Describe each of the following sampling methods and indicate conditions under which each is appropriate. Systematic random sampling. So to do systematic random sampling, you should get a population size divided by the sample size. You get a number m. If it's a decimal, you run into the nearest whole number. After you get the number m, between 1 and m, you choose another random number. You can choose that number by using a number table, or you can use a similar device. After you get the number k, you use k plus m, k plus 2m, k plus 3m, and you use actually those numbers to choose the members. This is how we do the systematic random sampling. Systematic random sampling can be used if there's no pattern with the data and if the researcher cannot make manipulations to the data. And the simplicity of the systematic random sampling gives a great advantage. For example, if you want to choose students from school, you can use this method. Cluster sampling. What you do is you divide the population into groups or clusters, and you obtain simple random samples from the clusters. And then when you gather all these members, all those members are going to be the members of the sample. You can use cluster sampling if the population is already divided in clusters. For example, a researcher who wants to see academic achievement in high school students in a country can use this method by using clusters as cities of the country. So from each city is going to be a cluster, and you can choose the samples from the cities, which is a cluster sampling. Stratified random sampling with proportional allocation. What you do is you divide the population into subpopulations. It's not like clusters, it's subpopulations. And from each subpopulation, you obtain a simple random sample. And then all those numbers are going to be your member of your sample. We can use stratified random sampling with proportional allocation when cluster sampling is less reliable. For example, if a researcher wants to see what percent of the homeowners in a town want the town build a swimming pool, they can use this method. Instead of dividing the town into blocks, they can divide the homeowners by their income. So the income is going to be the subpopulation. So high income, middle income, and low income. These are going to be subpopulation. And then from those subpopulations, you gather the members. This is how you get the sample.